This episode of the Pixcelation Show is brought to you by the Pixcelation Patreon. If you would like to get early access, or your name in the credits of videos just like this one, click the link in the description and pledge your support for $1 or more. I truly appreciate the support. I don't have the best luck. In fact, there are times I question if I even believe in luck at all. I used to enter those random giveaways for stuff I could never realistically afford, and 9.5 times out of 10, I would walk away empty-handed. I don't mean to sound entitled, it's just that I lost so frequently I was forced to consider the possibility that I drew the short straw when it came to luck. So, back in 2016, months before this channel would be used in any meaningful way, a contest was held by PQube Games, the winner of which would receive a copy of Root Letter, a then-newish visual novel developed by Kadokawa Games, and in a strange twist of fate, I won. I had absolutely zero idea what I was getting myself into with this one, so it sat at the bottom of my metaphorical stack of shame until the following summer when, to satiate my ever-present boredom, I set aside a week to stream it. It makes perfect sense then, that when I heard Root Letter would be re-released in 2019 with not only a host of brand new endings, but also an alternate mode with live actors rather than anime sprites, I resolved to do whatever was necessary to get my paws on a copy. I didn't want to rely on my luck, or lack thereof, this time around, so I reached out to PQube directly and asked if they'd be down to toss your boy a code, and they said yes. It has been a hot minute since this game released, and ever since I beat it shortly thereafter, a version of this script has existed, waiting for the moment when I would finally turn it into a video. I would like to sincerely apologize to PQube for making them wait so long. I love you, Boo, and I ain't ever gonna stop loving you, Boo. I have to wonder, though, if they even remember giving me the code in the first place. In any case, welcome to the Pixcelation Show, the only show on the internet answering the questions you want answered, such as, could it be she's just not that into you, bro? In today's episode, we'll be taking a look at the not-so-recently remastered Root Letter Last Answer and hope that it's still relevant enough to drink the sweet, sweet nectar of the algorithm. Let's do this. In Root Letter Last Answer, you play as an aimless 30-something named Max, who tends to be as annoying and overbearing as he possibly can in every situation he finds himself in, hence the name. In his third year of high school, he exchanged letters with a girl calling herself Aya Femino, and over the course of 10 letters, he fell in love with her, until one day, the letters just stopped. In time, Max graduated, found a steady job, and forgot all about Aya Femino, until the day he finds an 11th letter he doesn't remember receiving, let alone reading. I killed someone. I must atone for my sins. We won't speak again. Farewell. It's this enigmatic letter that sends Max all the way to Shimane Prefecture in a quest to uncover the truth behind Aya Femino's disappearance and the meaning behind her final letter. In this informal investigation, the amateur gumshoe comes face to face with Aya's former classmates, each of whom harbors a dark secret, which must come to light before the whole truth is to be known. In Aya's first letter, she writes of her circle of close friends, giving each a nickname to hide their identity. I would say this makes sense in universe, considering they were kids at the time, so they might not want their names being revealed to random people across Japan. It also makes sense from a writing perspective, as much of the game is spent figuring out which of the characters are lying when they insist that they never knew Aya. It gets weird, however, when it's revealed they're all referred to by these names outside the context of the letters. In the order you encounter them, there's Four Eyes, Fatty, Bitch. You heard me correctly. There is actually someone in this game who is fine being called bitch in normal conversation. Snappy, Shorty, and Bestie. In each arc, it's up to the player to gather evidence to prove not only each of their identities, but also that they knew and were friends with Aya, and what really happened to her after the 11th letter was sent. Root Letter Last Answer is approximately 85% visual novel and 15% Danganronpa-style mystery sim. That is to say, you spend a good majority of the game exploring Matsue, interacting with residents, and sightseeing until it's time to confront one of Aya's friends. It's then that you use the various pieces of seemingly disjointed evidence to back that person into a corner and bully them into submission. It might sound as if Max is not the kind of person you'd enjoy playing as, and I'll admit, he can be an absolute tool. But to be honest, there's not really a single character who isn't Terabad, so the ends kinda justify the means here. In one chapter, well, really is for most of the story, one of them stalks Max in an effort to chase him out of town, and when that doesn't work, he pulls a knife on him. It's one thing to stalk someone, that's bad enough, but as soon as you pull the knife out, you've given up on any kind of redemption. I say that, but despite everything, each of them, including Stabby McStabface, is capable of making amends for their shitty behavior, so I'll leave whether they've earned it up to you. I mentioned there were some additions made that differentiate Last Answer from the original, and I'll start with the live-action mode, which is distinguished by real-life actors and scenery, as opposed to the vanilla's anime aesthetic. I want to say this mode was difficult to get used to as someone who played the original, but at some point my brain stopped expecting to see anime sprites and started to see this new mode as normal, believe it or not. I was going to comment on how impressed I was with the team's attention to detail and accuracy when it came to the scenery, but then I found out that Shimane is a real prefecture and each location, set piece, and storefront is based on a real place you can visit, which only makes me want to visit the island nation more than I already did. I really admire the effort that went into including this bonus mode. It shows how much love the Kadokawa Games team put into justifying this re-release, but when all is said and done, I think I prefer the original aesthetic. In my opinion, many of the more dramatic elements of the story work better as anime. I can recall certain scenes that were definitely not supposed to be funny, but still were because of an actor's facial expression or their read of a particular line. If you were curious about the bonus endings, they take on the form of answer arcs that continue from where the original endings left off, as well as a sequel arc that does the same for the true ending. In my opinion, the answer arcs were largely unnecessary. One is meh, one is abysmal, and the other is acceptable at best. I'd say the sequel arc is the one I enjoyed the most, as it gives the player another glance at the happy end vignette that we received with the vanilla release. It was so damn adorable! In the end, is Root Letter Last Answer worth adding to your library? I'll put it like this. If you do not currently own the original and are looking for a well-written visual novel that doesn't take itself too seriously, then yes, it's definitely worth it. I adore how multi-layered the story can be. Just as you think you've cracked the case, just as you start to channel Sherlock Holmes or Conan Edogawa, a new piece of evidence is introduced that forces you to reevaluate everything you think you know. In my original run, I don't think I had a clear image of what was really happening until the credits rolled, but I had plenty of theories. If you already own the vanilla release and are looking for reasons to get Last Answer, don't. It'd seem, depending on where you buy, the re-release only costs 10 bones more, so I can easily tell noobs to simply nab Last Answer. But unless you're foaming at the mouth to try the live-action mode or see the new endings, my best advice would be to just replay the original and then watch the endings elsewhere. And there is absolutely nothing new in the main game itself, and it would feel wrong recommending what is essentially the same game you already own with a short list of additional content. It honestly would have made more sense to push a DLC for the original release instead of turning it into a brand new game, but what do I know? I only exist within the confines of this screen. Thank you for watching this episode of the Pixcelation Show. I know you could have watched any video about an obscure visual novel today, and I am honored you've chosen mine. If you'd like to see more stuff like this, please consider subscribing here on YouTube, or if you'd like to help support the channel, get early access, and get your name in the credits all at once, you can join my Patreon by clicking the link in the description. Until next time, this is Pixcelation, reminding every single one of you to stay pixelated.